Welcome back, everybody. When the Washington Redskins drafted Robert Griffin III with his second overall pick, immediately they and their fans said, there's hope. After one game with a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, there's more than that. The shockwave of Week 1, certainly. Griffin and the Skins going into New Orleans with everything swirling in the bayou and handling the Saints. Poise, speed, and an offense not seen in the pros was more than New Orleans could handle. And that's saying something, since New Orleans was a perfect 9 for 9 in their dome last year. Today, the Skins are suddenly expected now to do it again on the road as they go into St. Louis for the Rams home opener. Coach Jeff Fisher is the youngest team in the league, and perhaps his fans can do what the Saints fans could not. After all, they'll be wearing the coach. This is the coach stash. They're going to be wearing a lot of these in the stands today. They're handing them out. RG3 has other plans, just as his veteran teammates say in the locker room this past summer. Here's Greg Garber.
Accountability.
Poise and leadership.
Be amazing.
Determination.
Being consistent.
Everybody has a couple words they can say, but not everybody can do the actions.
Even before he was drafted, Robert Griffin III was already hoping to make an impact on his future teammates.
You know, I'm the best quarterback for the Washington Redskins. So DC believes in me, Coach Shanahan believes in me, Dan Snyder believes in me, you know, and hopefully my teammates will believe in me as well.
Robert Griffin throws across the field, caught. What an arm by RG3.
One game into Griffin's career, and he's already impressed some of the Redskins' most seasoned veterans.
From the first day he stepped foot into this building, he's been the consummate team player, the consummate leader, always just, you know, doing things the hard way. If it's 10 sprints to run, he want to run all 10 and want to be in first place.
You know, he's here early in the morning, first guy in the building, you know, working out, in the playbook. You know, you see him, you know, last guy leaving the building.
He's a young quarterback that say, hey, let's go watch this. Let me show you something on film. You know, when you got a guy that's eager to show you something, that stands out. No matter how old you are, no matter how long you played this game.
Play action fake Robert looking over the middle, firing, it is caught, and off to the races across the 40. He's going all the way. Catch and run for a touchdown.
You know, for him to go down there and show that kind of poise and leadership and determination to be great, you know, it was huge. It definitely opened up a lot of our eyes.
Back in June, Griffin invited 5 Redskins receivers to Waco, Texas for a 6-day bonding session.
This is my 12th year, and I done had about 12 quarterbacks. And so, you know, when you're looking at it, and I'm sitting here, and then he's a young guy talking to me, telling me some of the things he wants to do and he wants to see, you know, I'm like, dang, I'm finally going to get to be a part of a guy like the Peyton Manning or the, you know, the Tom Brady.
Griffin's mindset is reflected in the slogans he keeps in his locker. Conquer every obstacle. Be unstoppable. Sacrifice.
He's letting you know that, hey, I'm standing by what this means, and that's the kind of guy you want around you.
Before training camp, Griffin challenged his teammates via Twitter to understand their reasons for playing the game with the hashtag #KnowYourWhy.
Know your why, just, you know why you're doing something. You know, what is your purpose?
What's the reason that you play the game? What's the reason why that you're lifting the weights, you're running those sprints, you're practicing, you're studying the film?
Robert looking, goes end zone, touchdown!
You know, it's just something about him. You know, it's something about his demeanor, his persona, the way he carries himself, that you believe in him.
He has gotten it from day one. He understands his why.
Hey, Greg, thank you very much. 320 yards passing, 4th highest total in a debut of a quarterback, and the first quarterback starter to be born in the 90s. I have socks older than that, okay? Are you buying the hype here, Coach, with RG?
I am buying the hype completely. He's a breath of fresh air. He's a leader, and every young football player in the National Football League ought to watch his example on the field and off the field.
Why even have to explain that? I mean, that piece itself explains it. Here's a guy that's a terrific football player. He's been a leader at everything, college, high school, track, whatever it is. His parents alone has raised him the right way, his mother and his father. He went to a high institution at Baylor, smart quarterback, Now he has an opportunity to get the Redskins back in contention.
What fans need to listen to is listen to the veteran players, because there's no veteran player, I don't care how good a kid is, I don't care what his pedigree is, there's no veteran player going to get on national TV and say, this guy is a leader, this guy is that, unless he really is. When you got veteran players, one thing I learned from Randy Moss, one thing that got his attention, he said, Chris, if you can make me better, that got my attention. He said the first time we talked, when you talked about getting me better, that's what players are looking for. How can I get better? Santonio, Moss, how can I extend my career after being through all these situations? He realized he's in a situation that he's always dreamt of being in, and he's so happy. He's the real deal. Look at the veteran players.
But he had the most difficult task of any of those rookie quarterbacks that started last week. I said it last week. We all thought that he was the one guy who probably had no chance to win. He goes in where Matthew Stafford, Eli, Cutler, all of those guys went in last year and couldn't win games. Now, all of those things they talked about him having, he has another thing, a tremendous arm. And when you look at this throw right here where he rolled to his left, came back to his right and threw a ball off balance, 36 yards downfield, across field. I'm not comparing, you know, their careers. Obviously, he's only played one game. But the last time I saw it, guy with number 7 in Denver was wearing it.
Yeah. So, boom, that means he's strizzade.
Well, listen, here's what they are. The Coach Shanahan and he, class. There's a class sign right there. To put in the Baylor offense, could you run that well? They haven't seen. We're in a win-win situation. Coach Shanahan, I want to learn it. Griffin teach it to me. This guy's won 2 Super Bowls so far. So there'll be a book on that offense soon. Maybe not yet. Adam, there's a book on some of the stuff now at the pre-draft trade, isn't there?
Well, let's go back to the offseason boom. Basically, the St. Louis Rams were sitting in a position of power. They had the 2nd overall pick in a draft that included Andrew Luck and RG3. The Washington Redskins wanted to come up, and they briefly discussed a deal with the Rams for Sam Bradford. Those talks never got anywhere because the Rams weren't going to deal Bradford, and the Redskins ultimately wanted RG3, but Bradford's name did come up. Most people around the league thought that the Cleveland Browns were in the best position to get RG3. They had all the extra picks from the trade for Julio Jones, but ultimately the Browns got outbid by the Washington Redskins, and one executive said this week he still finds it hard to believe that Cleveland didn't get a deal done and didn't pull a trigger and offer enough to get a trade done for RG3, which left the Redskins in a position to celebrate. And the day that they agreed to that deal with the St. Louis Rams, that night, Daniel Snyder got out of his private plane, took Bruce Allen, the general manager, Mike Shanahan, the head coach, and they went to the Bahamas to celebrate for the weekend in March. How often do you see a brain trust go to the Bahamas for a weekend in March when they have free agency coming up? But they had the quarterback they wanted, so they were able to celebrate, toast, and enjoy the fact that they had gotten the player that was the number 2 pick in RG3 and their quarterback of the future. Boom.
Shefty, I can't believe they didn't invite you down there. I mean, that's actually ridiculous. So, very interesting, and of course, so far, so good. Meanwhile,